GeekNifty down here in GP Vegas, one of the biggest events for Magic the Gathering, multi-day event. With me is Aaron Forsythe. He is the director of R&D and a former pro. Yep. Let's start talking about the former pro thing first, because you went pro back in 1998. What's different now from then for you?
A lot of it's the same. The travel around the world, build this group of friends that are awesome at Magic and just super intelligent people, we've likened it to you're kind of an international spy. You show up and you're going to all meet in Paris, and then you show up and you're all going to meet in Florida or whatever. And it's awesome to have that community. It's still here. There's old faces, new faces all mixed together. But I just think that the size and scale is what's changed. There were not Grand Prix that were 3,500 people back when I was playing. It was a couple hundred, and it felt like, okay, that felt like a big tournament. Now you walk in here and just see a sea of humans all playing Magic, mostly competitively, plus all the trading and cosplay and everything, and it's just on a scale that was unfathomable to me back in 1998.
Sea of Humans, I like that. It sounds like it might be one of Morrow's Unglued 3 cards. Yeah, I like it, yeah. Now, we have a new set about to come out, Hour of Devastation. A bunch of cards got spoiled the other day. Why don't you kind of tell me about what's gone into the development of the set and carrying the story into the second set, and some of the new mechanics we're going to be seeing?
Right, so the plane of Amonkhet, when we first saw it, looked beautiful, pristine, kind of a cool place to live, but you could always tell there was something seedy going on beneath the surface, and the fact that they worshipped Nicol Bolas, who we as Magic players all know is like one of the most evil minds in the multiverse. Why is this plane enamored with him so much? And then he finally arrives here in Hour of Devastation and makes his true plans revealed. So we wanted to take a lot of the gameplay that we familiarized you with in Amonkhet and kind of give it a more evil twist. So the big one was we took the embalm mechanic, which turned creatures that died into these cool white mummies, and made a new version of that called Eternalize, where instead of becoming a white mummy with the same stats you had before, now when you come out of the graveyard you're a 4/4 black mummy. This is Bolas's undead army that he has been secretly planning for years and years. So a lot of the cards with that mechanic have things to care about their power. So a mechanic like Double Strike, or when a card comes into play, you draw cards equal to its power. It might be a 2-power creature at first, but then when you eternalize it and it comes back as a 4-power creature, you get to amplify that effect a lot. The other one, we wanted to give another evil mechanic to his eternal army, so we came up with something called Afflict, which really puts the pressure on your opponent whether they want to block or not. It kind of puts them in a damned if you do, damned if you don't. If they block, they take damage, and if they don't block, obviously they take damage. And there's some cool designs that put that pressure to even harder, where if you don't block, something cooler is going to happen. So puts the screws to your opponent in a way that is worthy of Nicol Bolas.
Behind the scenes, what were some of the challenges in creating Amonkhet and its follow-up set, Hour of Devastation?
Well, Amonkhet was mostly, we were trying to come and just play into the top-down Egypt space, where we were delivering on things that players wanted: mummies, sarcophaguses, the cartouches, and the hieroglyphics and things like that. But then for Hour, we really had to amp up the story for Magic's IP and what was going on with that world. And that meant we had to leave some stuff behind, some of the mechanics that we knew players liked, like Embalm. We don't like taking things away, but we had to then ratchet it up some more and make the set feel like the stakes have been raised and that really bad things were happening to the plane and to our main characters.
Now, of course, you mentioned Nicol Bolas is the god of Amonkhet. He is a hint back to the past, back when you and I were starting out, when he was just an Elder Dragon legend. I'm a big...
Legends, yeah, in 94?
At 94, yeah. I believe, yeah. I'm a big fan of pre-minting storyline and the pre-minting characters, so for me as a veteran player, I think it's wonderful to have somebody as recognizable as Nicol Bolas. And I think that kind of ties a little bit into the fact that the game's going to be around for 25 years. Right. It started early August of 1993, and that's right around the corner. Wizards just announced a slew of things to celebrate over the course of the next year. What are some of the things that you are looking forward to personally for the 25th anniversary?
I mean, for me, the big one is that we are making a set called Dominaria. I was on the design team for that set along with Mark Rosewater and Richard Garfield and others, and that was where Magic's story started. And we spent many sets there back in the beginning, back when I was playing, and that was just kind of the baseline experience that you had with Magic. And since then, we have traveled to myriad other planes and shown off all the different corners of the multiverse. We last saw Dominaria in the Time Spiral block when it was kind of in ruins. And we knew players still loved it, and there was a lot of good stuff still there. We wanted to kind of freshen it up and represent it in a cool new way. So for me, that's the thing coming up in the next year that excites me the most, having worked on it so closely. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that's awesome as well.
Would you say, as far as going back to Dominaria, it's good to be home?
Oh, absolutely. That's a good slogan. I have to use that one.
My gift to you. Of course, it's not just that set. We have a new unset. A new Masters was announced.
Yep.
Talk to me a little bit about those, if you can.
Right. So the unset is something that Mark Rosewater's been cooking on for years and years and years, and we just needed to find the right time to release it. So, every time we go to a convention or a show and we have a Q&A session, it's like, when's the next unset? When's the next unset? So we knew people wanted it. We wanted to do it right. This one's got a really cool creative treatment, and it's been designed to play really well in Limited, so hope people have a good time with that. It's called Unstable. And then we have the 25th Anniversary Master Set coming out. That's going to be kind of a really cool retrospective of Magic. It's got all sorts of cards from throughout all of Magic, up from the very first alpha set all the way up through the stuff that hasn't even come out yet with the Ixalan block.
How is that set going to differ from the Iconic Masters that's coming out, I believe, in November? Late this year, at least.
Yeah. So Iconic Masters comes out later this year. And Iconic in that we're going for the cool creature types, the big beefy creatures that people associate with each color of Magic. So lots of dragons, lots of angels, lots of demons. So that's what we mean by Iconic. It's not necessarily trying to dredge up 25 years of stuff in order to execute on that. I mean, it does have plenty of modern cards, as well as some cards that predate modern. But the 25th anniversary was very much, if you remember, we did, I think it was 9th edition, where we picked a card from every expansion to kind of showcase the history of Magic. This is that kind of taken to the next level and creating a really robust play experience, but also just letting you walk through everything that you've ever seen and loved in Magic in one set. It's totally awesome.
I'm expecting some high tides for my blue deck.
I don't know about that one, but yeah.
Well, Aaron, thank you very much for the time.
Yeah.
It's great, and I know you're going to play some games while you're here at GP Vegas, so good luck with those. What are you looking to play?
Well, I got a standard deck, a modern deck, a legacy deck, and a commander deck, plus a box of boosters, so I'm kind of prepared for anything. So I'm just going to go walk over to the table and see what's about to fire and give it a go.
Well, I don't have a box of boosters, but I have a deck of each of all those, so how about after the interview we'll get one in? Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I got to go play a game with Aaron. So thank you for joining us with GeekNifty at GP Vegas. I'm Barry White.